Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're hearing my voice or seeing me. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, Pajama Grandma here with what I'm up to now. What's she up to now? How and what the heck am I doing to transition from traditional corporate life and brick and mortar businesses to the online world, to being able to work and play in my pajamas? And I'm actually doing a lot. And so to keep track of it and to kind of document my journey, where I've been, what's working, what's not, what's frustrating, what obstacles or challenges I'm facing and having to overcome. I'm just doing this little Facebook Live summary video every day to kind of hold myself accountable and keep me on track and to keep me more focused on what it is that I need to be doing. Because like a lot of entrepreneurs, I tend to go off in at least a dozen different directions at a time, if not hundreds of directions at a time, none of which cause me to get the results I want because I'm so scattered and I don't have always a straightforward momentum on one main project. I'm always doing multiple projects. And I've actually learned that anything more than 6 is detrimental to my life. So I'm learning to back that in, pare it down, and try to stick with one thing. Now today I'm going to visit my grandma. I'm still in my pajamas. I've got another one of these awesome fuzzy like Sherpa jackets. It's just a warm fuzzy thing. I had gotten one and I liked it so much I went and got another color because I'm all about the warm and cozy. It's part of why I'm Pajama Grandma, because I like to be comfortable, and I mean physically comfortable. And that stems from my personal experiences with chronic illness and chronic pain, which leads me to my one thing and my focus. I decided today, as part of another challenge to myself, that I'm going to go all in on the chronic pain. I'm going all in with, as I'm transitioning from the brick and mortar world and actually mostly the food industry or personal care products and manufacturing to more coaching and delivering personal services and not business services, but more personal and health-related services for people that have chronic pain and chronic illness, like I've had for 37 years. And that is a big leap and a big change for me, because I've always been in the sciences and the math and the engineering world, and to go to a world that is a lot more, now it's not really touchy-feely, but it's definitely a lot more of that than the world that I'm used to being in. That's a giant leap of faith. So, and it's not even a leap of faith. It's a giant transformation and leap of skills. So, but here's the interesting thing. It's really not that big a leap of skills. The same way I coach a business on strategy and how to, get whatever it is that they want, is the same way that we coach a person on overcoming their chronic pain and chronic illness and getting the life they want. It's the exact same process. And so it's not actually that big a leap of faith. It's just a leap of confidence more in me than it is anything else. And you know what? I know how to do this because I've done it hundreds of times before. So there's really not much doubt or worry or fear there either. But I think it's more the fear of focusing on one thing. The whole, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That, for some reason, that belief and that pops into my head more often than I care to admit. And I think it's not about putting all my eggs in one basket. It's about focusing on one thing to learn the process and the procedure of how I want to implement it in the online world. And then I can expand it to other things. So that's kind of my thought process today. And I'll get lots of time to think about it and work on that one thing, because I'm going to see my grandma. My grandmother is going to be 99 this year in October. So she's 98 and a half years old. And she is the epitome of awesome health. She's in a memory care unit now, so mentally she's not 100%, but I don't think she should be there. She's a lot, she remembers more stuff than I do a lot of the time, but she's there for the care and company, which she doesn't get much company, which is why we're going to see her today, more than she is for, the consistency of meals and the consistency of things like that, than anything else. But when the days I go to see her, which are not anywhere near often enough because she's pretty far away, and so it's quite a journey. It takes the better part of the day. I don't get a lot done with respect to the projects I'm working on or my business. And I've got an entire slide deck to put together for a client on their webinar, for their webinar. And I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get that done while I'm going to visit Grandma. Now, the car time, if I could do it in the car, that'd be awesome. But I don't have good enough eyes. We know the magnifying glass. So that's a challenge for me. So I'm somehow going to have to start outsourcing some of this visual work on business projects. I've come to terms with that. And I'm okay with that. I like doing it, but it takes me, it's definitely not my area of superhero-ness, and it's not the actual concepts and strategy behind it, or the information, or even the copy. I can actually do the copy pretty well now myself. Thank you, Funnel Scripts, and Jim Edwards, and Russell Brunson. But they just give me a springboard to start off on. It's the actual visual seeing on the computer and on, my phone. Heaven forbid should I have to text somebody something without a typo in it. And for a customer or a client, I'm not going to give them anything with typos in it, or misspellings, typos or misspellings, or any mistakes in it. So I at least have to have somebody come behind me and look at the projects anyway. So I might as well be training a virtual assistant or a helper to actually do that stuff for me, the eye work for me, and then I can have another person just check it over. And that's okay, because that's not my area of expertise. I'm much better at designing the strategy, helping with the messaging, helping with the business overview, and what the really impactful next steps are, than I am at the mechanics of building a funnel or designing a sales. I like to design the sales process, but actually building the funnel, somebody else can do that for me. So that's what I'm thinking about today. How am I going to get that slide deck done with an 8-hour trip to my grandma's? But I'll get it done because I said I would, so I always get it done. Yesterday was a quiet day. I'm just trying to think of how this week's been going. It's been a really, really busy week. Although I did launch a little Pajama Grandma coaching funnel. I forgot about that. I did put that out there to take applications to work with people one-on-one for chronic pain, which I know that is the way I can serve them the best. The best way for me to actually get people to get the transformation that they want is to work with them one-on-one. Fortunately, I don't have that much time anymore to be able to work with people one-on-one. So that's why I'm going to take applications to determine, are you a really good fit with me? Can you stand the Pajama Grandma personality? Because if you don't want me to hold you accountable, if you're not going to take action on the things that we decide that you need to do, then you shouldn't work with me, because I will get really, really frustrated because you won't make progress. If you're not doing what you've agreed to do, you're not going to make progress. You're not going to kill your chronic pain. You're not going to get the life that you deserve. You're going to continue to get exactly what you're getting now. And I spent a lot of years working with business people like that. I would help them and coach them and guide them. And, we'd decide together what they were going to do to carry forth on the plans that we decided, because it was their business. I couldn't do it for them. And they wouldn't do it, would have a gazillion excuses, and it wouldn't get done. And then I felt like a failure because they didn't hold up their end of the deal. Now, I knew consciously that it wasn't my fault, I wasn't the failure, but people blame you when you're their coach and their guide for them not doing the work. It's amazing, but people blame other people when they don't do anything. Can you imagine that? Well, it happens. Shocker, I know. So I want to make sure that the people that I select to work with one-on-one with respect to chronic pain, because it is such a personal issue for me as well, that they're really going to actually follow through and do things. And I know there's a lot of hiccups in the road with chronic pain. We have real physical challenges that sometimes make things in progress and action steps and things that we've committed to go slower. And actually, what I found with chronic pain is most of the time we just won't commit to stuff. We'll take ourselves out of the ball game before we even will try, because we're not sure what's going to happen with respect to our health and our chronic pain. And I think that's why I keep moving toward focusing on the health aspects and how people, and why I want to help people with that. Because if you don't have your health, everything else in your world stops. It just does. So that's what I'm thinking about today. I'm going to go get ready for Grandma's. I have to get some clothes on because unlike my pajama grandma life, when I go to see Grandma, they frown upon me showing up at her, I want to say a nursing home, but they don't have any nurses there. It's a memory care warehousing unit where they take wonderful care of her because she is such a marvelous lady, and they would take good care of her anyway, but she's such a delight that she always gets, their favorite. They have favorite patients. I guess they're patients or care people every month, and she's won that award. I don't know how many times in the few years that she's been there. So go out, make it a fantastic day. Commit to the one thing that you're going to really, really devote your life to and focus on. And you can do a lot of other things too, but pick one thing to start with and really hone your skills in on that one thing. And then when you get that, you can add all the other things you want. It's kind of what I'm doing. Here's a little secret. I'm cheating and I'm creating my own webinar template to make creating webinars easier for me, because there's certain things that you put in every web class or every webinar because they're consistent things that help people to change their beliefs and to then want to take advantage of the offer that you're offering them. And the offer that you're offering them is always in their best interest. If they're on my webinar, if they're on a webinar I'm writing for a client and working with a client to produce, what I'm providing and what we're offering and what we're providing is an absolute killer deal. It is such an incredible deal that people that get on the web class are crazy not to take advantage of it. Now, people won't take advantage of it if we don't do a good enough job helping them to overcome and see what an awesome deal it is for them and how it will help them transform and solve whatever problem it is that the web class or webinar is addressing. But I'm creating a template for the physical production of that part of the process, because I don't know how many I've done now, but I've done a lot of them and I do them all from scratch. And it's a whole lot more work, which is part of why I'm commiserating over the one I'm doing today. It's like, that's last night I had the aha that I got to create with my daughter. We were discussing it because she's a design person, which I'm totally not. And that's what I need help with. She and I are going to put together a template today, and we're going to create a template. And will it work all the time? No. Will it be a foundation, kind of like funnel scripts or modeling someone else's process or copy or whatever? Yes, it's just a place to start to make it easier. So anything I repetitively do, I create an automated system or a template for. I don't know why it's taken me this long to create one for a webinar. I just didn't even think about it until last night when I was frustrated, because I'm like, I've got, a webinar that I've done for another project on the right, and then I'm going back and forth in the PowerPoint software, doing it slide by slide. And I'm like, there's got to be an easier way to do this. We're going to create a template of the basic ones with the directions on it of what should go on that slide. And then we'll just use that over and over again to build all of our future webinars off of. Duh. So always be looking for things to make your life easier. So that's what I'm working on today. Go out and make it an awesome day. It looks like the sun's coming up and it's going to be beautiful. I need a little more of this coffee. Still, you can tell I'm a little groggy, tired. And that's just because I got a lot to do and I still want to go see my grandma because she's marvelous. Go out, make it an awesome day. Hug the people you love. Especially be kind to and love yourself, because most of us don't do anywhere near that. Enough of that. Have a terrific day, and I will see you again tomorrow to let you know what I'm up to. What's she up to now? Bye.